And we're
Let's
live.
show up in our recordings.
Here we are with Game with the Waiting Room with John Ashley Thomas. Thank you, John, for appearing on our podcast.
Yo,
What's up, man?
What's up, man?
Hey, John.
Hey man, hey, hi
Hey,
guys,
man.
how are you?
Yeah, we're not well. I think we're all climbing the walls by this fucking stage in the proceedings. It's gone beyond the point of even the slightest joke. I think. It's
Yes, sir.
ridiculous. It's absolutely
Yes, sir.
ridiculous.
I should ask Derek how he is more often. Derek, how are you lately?
Shite. That's why I'm shite.
What have you been up to, John? How's things been? How have things been for you since like this whole thing began?
Well, not really been doing much. I still go to the studio because it's within 9 kilometers and I consider it like essential.
Yeah,
So,
it is.
my day is taken up with that, and so when I come back, I just dinner, watch TV, maybe, yeah. Otherwise, man, it's just like at least I got a routine going on now.
you got a routine
Yeah,
lah, at
that's
least.
good,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's good thing.
I got
Yeah,
a
you gotta
routine,
maintain.
It's an
That's
escape.
good.
Do you go to is it a discipline now that you go to the studio 5 days a week or something like that, or is it every 7 days a week, or do you just?
Oh,
set
it's been a
yourself-
discipline. It's always been a discipline, but I think now even more so because I feel like now we all got so much time, right?
Yeah.
And you know,
Yeah.
when we were working normally before the pandemic, we always wish we had this time. So now that we have this time, I'm really trying to spend as much time as I can there. So like at least next year, when I look back, I feel like I did something.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, make the best of it, man. Yeah, that's true. That's good.
Yep.
That's a good way to.
That-
Yeah.
That's the only thing that's keeping me going right now. The
Yeah,
fact
that-
I can
Yeah,
still.
That's
man.
it's one of the reasons for this goddamn fucking podcast. That we were all just like, "On what the fuck?" Like, just give us something.
We got
that we
time,
can
Yeah.
talk
man.
about,
Let's talk. Yeah.
Yeah.
And let's
Now you-
record it.
We also since
What do
this
you guys-
began. Sorry,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
What have you guys been up to?
But in and out of bits of
Charlie
work,
Nino.
just
Oh, yeah.
piecemeal work, I think. Well,
Yeah.
for Fabian and Asmil, who they can talk for themselves, but they do have normal 9 to 5 jobs, like lecturer and journalist.
Okay.
For me and Brendan, it's
Normal.
Normal.
Ones,
Yeah, we're them normal.
Normal.
We're
Normal.
squares.
You guys are the clever ones.
We're the square ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
You
like,
guys are anything but.
We're in plain sight. That's why I like Fight Club, man. Anyway,
Fight
yeah.
Club.
I think for the freelancers, like me and Brendan and yourself, it's just like being whatever work comes our way, you just grab onto it with both fucking hands.
That's
Like today was the first single of an album of an Irish band that I just mixed. That's released today, so that's kind of nice to get that out. And then Brendan's got a single coming up soon that I mix also that he can talk about that he's releasing that I also mix, which is
nice.
so various pieces of stuff that I've got, that more studio stuff that I'm mixed. So I'm getting more back into the kind of studio stuff because there's
I guess if there's ever a time to do it, now would be. Right?
absolutely
Yeah.
there's no live
Yeah,
work like
I've
there's
been
just
busy too, man. Just making stuff, man. Yeah, videos. I work on that.
Asmil also released an album during the pandemic.
Last year. I got some stuff up my sleeve. Got some new stuff coming up, man. Yeah.
Asmil always has new
Just
stuff.
because I'm not noisy on social media doesn't mean nothing's cooking in the kitchen.
Yeah.
You know,
Asmil's
Right,
released
nice,
more
nice.
music than fucking I don't know anybody. Like it's crazy.
nothing to
I'll
do.
give-
Release only.
And give Asmil a Grammy.
Because
We
it's
all got
coming
nothing to
anyway.
do, but
Right?
you're still the one pushing the albums out. That's great, man. That's awesome.
Got to keep the fire alive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah.
Routine lah, but it's true. Like you say, it is. At one point, the word routine doesn't sound like a bad thing if you're doing creatively, right?
Well, when
It's
there's nothing to
maintaining-
do, when there's nothing to do, routine's a good thing. When you're working flat out, routine becomes like
Yeah.
like a trudge and fucking hideous, like, and becomes repetitive and boring. But when
Yeah, man.
when you don't have that routine, when you're sitting for a week or 2 weeks or as long as we've been sitting, where there's nothing regular going on, you sort of need to create your own routine.
That's like my last
Yeah,
5
yeah.
years.
Yeah. No.
You have to
I
create
mean,
your
like
own routine.
actually, the pandemic gave me a routine actually now, because
Yeah,
even though I
same,
got a day
same,
job
same.
and this thing, my life was upside down because actually work's relaxed to me. It's like I'll be partying the other time of the hour of the day. That's right. So work's kind of relaxed, and I was like, okay, you can hide in the pantry, make Milo, go toilet, but that sense of routine lah. Yeah, true.
Man.
So John, are you working on your Pro Tools? Are you working on your Pro Tools skills at the studio, John, or is it just pure fucking drums?
No, it's pure drums. But actually, last year, I had no choice but to figure out how to work it myself, and I actually managed to do it. But it was so silly, right? Because Derek's been to my studio. I've got a wired keyboard, right? With a
me and
wire.
John's got one of the most hideous stories at his studio ever. It involves
We don't have to
me,
tell
one of the biggest brain farts in the history of brain. I forgot.
Hey, tell us.
It was like an internal brain. John hired me to come out and record and do some. And like I'd been in his studio before and it went fine. It was everything. But previous times it was all fine. This one day my brain just caved in. I couldn't work anything. Didn't know. I just collapsed. Like it was like a brain panic attack rather than a body panic attack.
Oh really? Wow.
I just couldn't. My brain just stopped functioning for about a 10-hour period, and then I went home. I was never so. It was the worst.
Do we actually we finished the recording though?
Everything was finished, but like it was the most. Something that should have took 2 hours, 3 hours at best, took about 12 hours of us.
Oh really?
Yeah, man. It was
okay.
it was all my fault completely. I hold my hand and take all responsibility, and it was like
Everything's your fault, Derek.
Everything's your fault. Yeah. What happened?
We ended the session at 4 a.m. I think.
4
right?
a.m. Yeah,
Like
but
4.
but
Yeah.
John's so nice. He never got angry at me once, and then as he was driving home, he knew I was in a really bad way. And that's how nice John is. He started telling me about one of the most biggest horror stories he ever had playing as a drummer. That where he fell asleep and then couldn't make a major gig rehearsal. He missed all the calls and stuff. Like I won't say what gig it was, but he woke up with about 3,000 missed calls and stuff like that, just to make me feel better about what just happened.
you guys chill.
Actually, I lied about the whole thing. Just to make you feel better.
There you go.
But that's even.
I'm kidding.
But it was just even
good
like
tale.
because any other person hiring that would have fucking had a conniption for it and just fucking call me all the cunts of the day, but like, which I would have deserved, but like
All the cunts of the day. That's a good one.
all the cunts of the day. But anyway,
we didn't have a deadline or anything, right? And
no, we didn't have a deadline. Like there was no
yeah,
one, there was
so
no
yeah,
one
it
sitting, there was no one sitting waiting for the work. But like,
okay.
and like it was so weird because I'd been out twice previously and they record and edit and send stuff off, and it was fine. We just did it, and it was a couple of hours sending it away in. But this time, my brain just fucking stopped working. It was the weirdest thing that's ever been happening to me at the worst possible time. But it was a good learning curve because it'll never happen again. It will never.
You don't remember anything. It's like a blank slate, is it?
Complete
You just remember what you
blank,
did.
complete blank slate.
the sound and everything came out really nice. Yeah, it was recorded really nicely anyway in the end. So
Yeah, but like
So it's just that Derek was just not in the mood for that.
no, it wasn't
Derek
like that in the
was
mood. Wasn't even in the mood. I don't. When it comes to work, I don't allow myself to fucking like. I'll try to be as, even though I might drink alcohol and stuff like that, I try to be serious and ensure everything comes out proper and right. We weren't drinking. There was no alcohol involved. I don't know. My brain just fucking froze up. Which
that's
is
why that's why it happened now. We should have drank.
I was
Exactly. That's why we just
That's
diagnosed.
why
you
Derek
do
stopped
that?
functioning.
There wasn't even a
How
cup of
can you-
tea.
yeah,
There
how
wasn't
can
even
a
a
record not
fucking
have
cup of tea.
anything?
There wasn't even a cup of tea in the room. Like that's the problem too. Like,
Still not even tea, man.
Irishman
See
needs
how
tea.
long he's been holding this against.
No,
You
it's
didn't
got
offer
nothing-
him a beverage.
Holding against
John.
myself. I was holding against myself. Nothing to do with John. I take full responsibility for this madness. So your actual studio, John. Like, can we go into the process of you took over that space from someone else previously?
Okay, so the guy who owns the studio, he initially started working with Lewis many years ago, and it used to be his office, right? So there was another guy involved. He and Lewis approached the doctor to convert it into like a studio, right?
Okay.
So they were okay with it. So they put up some basic paneling. It was very bare, nothing really much inside. So it was a small operation happening, right? They did a few years of that. Then I believe the owner and Lewis had a falling out. So so the space was just unused, right? Then Steve Thornton and Marco, the guitarist,
Yeah.
they somehow got in touch with the owner and they wanted to use it, right? So then Steve, the owner said, okay. So Steve got in touch with myself, Eric Lee, I think it was Michael and Steve. So 5 of us, right? And so we all split the rent and we were using it. But it turns out nobody was using it. We all had keys, but I was the only one coming in. And then it got to a point where nobody wanted to pay the rent anymore because they were not using it, right? And the direct liaison to the owner was also like, I want to quit this whole thing. I want to open up a gym. And then I was like, oh, do I still get to use it? It's like, oh, I don't think so because owner only trusts me with handling the thing, right? So I said, can I at least talk to him? And he said, yeah. He passed me his number. I spoke to him, and then it turns out I used to teach his son drums.
There you go.
No, but
Jalan,
but his
jalan,
son, yeah,
jalan.
his son's been based in Australia for a long time. Really great drummer, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so he's not in KL to use the studio, and he was very gracious. The owner said, "Okay, are you sure you can use it?" Then I told him I want to do some renovations. He was fine with it. So that was probably about from the time I took over the place and began renovations. That was probably 5 years ago.
So it was you who did all the renovations then? Those are all post you taking over on your own?
Yeah, I went on gearsluts.com and
of course,
they've got like they've got a studio build forum, right, where you can download blueprints.
Okay.
And they've got so many pictures, so I just tried to find the room that looked the most similar to mine. And then so I downloaded the diffuser plans. It was super DIY. I sourced all the wood myself. I brought back actual diffusers, like Orlex wooden diffusers.
Yep.
That's like what, $400 each, right? But since I was going to China so much, I got on Alibaba.
And you got a local supplier?
No. I found a local supplier, but I didn't want to pay shipping, right? So I would go to China for these Mandopop shows, and I would bring no luggage. I would just literally bring a pair of drumsticks. So I would have my 40 kg free to bring back 2 diffusers.
Brilliant. There you go. Brilliant.
So in about eight trips, everything was done. So,
awesome. That's how.
That's how you DIY.
That's DIY maximum, man.
Yep.
And from like $400, I was paying $70 per. So I saved a lot of money on that.
Okay, cool.
And so slowly, that's how it came about.
No, it's a very nice space. Like it is really a nice space. Like, and it's it is one of the problems with Malaysia where they're back home. There's recording studio designers and companies that will if you want, they'll design and build your recording studio for you. There's just nothing like this here. We had Paul Morrison last week. We had Paul Morrison last week, and he did all Maverick himself as well. So
Paul did such a great job as well.
He did. Maverick's
I think there are a few guys actually, but it's like nobody wants to pay 20,000 for.
Correct.
I mean, if you had the budget, then why not? But
if you got the budget to do it,
right?
Yeah.
True.
So it's been yours now for 5 years on your own.
Yeah, it's we've done like a whole bunch of things there. It took a really long time for us to actually get the acoustics right. Because we went through 3 different contractors. They all would bail halfway because I guess building a studio is different from what they normally would do.
Because it's physics. So you're not just dealing with just throwing stuff up.
It's
proper
true.
acoustics.
It's not just building.
You're actually dealing with actual physics here. Like so, you need. You need to know exactly what you're doing. You can't have some guy just come in and go, just
yes.
The guy doing your toilet plumbing is like,
Yeah, man, I was so nice. We had like 20 djembes, like toy djembes, right? And I was so nice, man. I gave this guy like 4 djembes for his kids, and then he just bailed halfway through the shop.
Next time give 2 only.
But 3 of them bailed. All 3 bail out. They never finish. That's what happens when you try to get like cheap labor, right?
Yeah.
You don't do it really well. So I should have just paid for somebody good. And the 4th guy finished it in the end, but oh man, it's like a lot of time spent just because after you go to the first guy and then he bails, it's done, it's halfway done. You spend weeks trying to find another guy, and then they gotta come in. They're not free to come. They can only come next week to look at the place.
Yeah.
After they look at the place, they're okay. I'll come by end of this week to start work. They never come on time. It's like
And that's all rent that you have to pay. All that time is you have to pay rent.
Yeah.
So all in all, how long did it take to complete everything?
The time I started, I think close to half a year.
Wow.
Close to half a year because we had to redo the live room. there's a lot of things up in the live room for sound, right? We had to redo the live room about 2-3 times because it was too dead, right? No, it's too lively at first.
Yeah.
So we put up all these clouds and we went a bit crazy. Then it was too dead. So that's the second time. So then we removed everything again and repositioned until we finally got happy. But yeah,
Yeah.
You can
it took a long time. Yeah.
and you can get a good sound in that room now. It's for something where the ceilings aren't that high. You can get a pretty decent.
Exactly. Yeah.
You get a pretty decent drum sound like. Because generally for a good drum sound you want a nice high ceiling, you want a nice lively room, not too crazy, but like in that room you're fine. You're not noticing anything that you're not going to. It works fine. Like
Yeah, it's a nicely balanced room, I would say. It's not too lively, and
But
thank
we-
God it's not too dead. So
you knew what you're doing, but you knew from your own ear what you wanted. Like you took your
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
You just
yeah.
didn't settle. You just didn't go. Let's get it up and let's get it going. You settled. You went no.
and
That's
from,
not working.
and from recording in so many studios, right, all like everywhere, you kind of get a feel where the drums will sound nice, and you know what a proper kick sound should
Yeah.
sound like naturally.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
True.
Moving swiftly on to proper studios, I want to talk about this because I'm a super fucking geek. La Fabrique. You recorded in La
yeah.
Fabrique, didn't you?
yeah.
Let's
so there's this.
Go now.
So
You
there's
can
this
go ahead.
Malaysian artist. There's
La
a Malaysian
Fabrique
artist called
also,
Penny
I don't know.
Tai.
Okay, for the rest of the guys and for anybody who's listening, La Fabrique is a beautiful recording studio in France, and there's an online, you may see it on YouTube from time to time. It's called Mix with the Masters, and it's all these top end recording engineers do these seminars, and you have to. Mix for the Masters a website. You sign up for it and you watch these seminars, or you've got a chance to go and spend a week picking. It's got someone got a bit like Steve Albini and Chris Algi or Andy Wallace or people like that. They're,
Nigel Godrich. Yeah.
they will do seminars for a week at La Fabrique, and it's a just beautiful kind of old kind of farm reconverted place in France. It's got a beautiful Neve desk, but it's just fucking amazing recording studio. And we're all anybody who's into recording or mixing at all sees La Fabrique and go, I'd love to be there. And John's recorded there, so like as a geek, I want to know about La Fabrique.
Sweet. Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's in the south of France. So it's in the countryside, and it's really beautiful. And then the studio is made up of 3 chateaus, right? So it's huge stone structures, right? And one of the chateaus were not being used at that time. One chateau was the housing, so they got about 11 rooms in that one chateau.
Oh, for the residential.
The next one, yeah. So
yeah.
all artists can stay there, and you have to stay there because there's no real accommodation.
That's okay.
Okay.
It's in the middle of nowhere, literally, right? And the main chateau is where the studio is, and it's such a weird space, man. They used to make fabric. Yeah, they used to make fabric back in the day, right? So it's just stone, and they have a lot of the same machines there.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, and if you look at the live room, you would think that, wow, this room's not treated. They didn't do any treatment to the room. It's just basically what was there is what was there, right? And it's a very
Okay.
lively sounding room, but they've got a lot of these movable gobos where they can get a really good sound,
Yeah.
right? So the artist I went down there with is a Malaysian artist who found a lot of success in Taiwan, in that scene, right? Her name's Penny Tai, and she's like any typical artist, except she knows how to work a whole Neve console by herself. Editing.
Really?
Yeah, she was doing all the edits. She was handling
Really?
some of the sessions also. Yeah.
Wow.
So she's very passionate about audio and
Wow.
production.
Respect. Respect.
Yeah. So no record label wanted to pay to fly 5 Malaysians down to France to record, right? So she funded the whole thing herself. Paid
Wow.
everybody's fees, paid all the accommodation, everything, paid the rent for the studio. Just so it was for her upcoming album, but it was also like like how some ladies like to buy expensive bags.
Yeah.
She likes to record at nice studios.
Okay. Some luxury there lah.
Yeah. So we arrived there. They got a huge Neve console, and it wasn't one of the more popular Neve consoles. I can't remember. I think there was an 80 in its name. So I always, the first thing I look at what pre's they have, right? And they've got this original Neve 1073 pre's, like the original ones,
Yeah.
all racked up.
Yeah.
And there are 8 channels of that, right? I think each channel is what, like $4,000-$5,000 for one channel.
Well, if it's the original with the double transformers in and out, like you're going to be talking about 4,000 or 5,000 quid.
Yeah. So they had 8 of them, right? So at that studio, you have to bring your own engineer. They provide you 2 assistants, but they have no chief engineer to run the session. So I asked Penny's engineer, "Oh my God, are we gonna use the 1073s? Because I've always wanted to record on them, right?" He's like, "Yeah, of course, but I want to try the board pre's first." I was like, "Okay, sure, fine." So they mic'd up the drums. They don't have any fancy mics over there. You would think a studio of that caliber with that equipment, they have crazy mics, right? But they've just got like pretty standard microphones, like 1 or 2 Neumanns, but everything else is pretty standard. And so they mic'd up. I did a sound check. We recorded, and I ran back into the control room because I wanted to hear the drums. And I asked him, "So do you record to the 1073?" He said, No, we just ran the board pre's, but check out the board pre's. And I listened back to the drums. It was so amazing.
It's still knee fucking pre's. Doesn't matter if it's 1073s or anything. It's still old school knee pre's, like.
And then the engineer looked at me. He's like, I don't think I'm gonna change pre's. Yeah. So it's funny because 2 weeks prior to us, literally 2 weeks before we arrived, Radiohead just finished recording the album there.
Okay.
So Nigel Godrich was there, like overseeing everything. So I was setting up my drums, and it's like, hey, the assistant engineer came. Yeah, so like the drummer is set up right here. So I was like, oh really?
Wow, awesome. Damn.
Yeah, so it's a beautiful studio. Like it's very inspiring recording there. Yeah.
Absolutely, must have been. How long did you spend there doing it?
10 days.
Oh fuck!
Nice.
Great.
Nice.
So the plan, the musicians were myself on drums, Jamie Wilson on guitar, Mac Hugh on piano, and Andy Peterson on bass, right? So the plan was to go there for 10 days, work out an arrangement of the acoustic guitar demo track that Penny had done. And so we were all like sort of like helping to arrange the song to what it became on the album, right? And so she gave us 10 days for us to all do that and record. But like, I guess we were inspired, or we hit a stride. So we were doing 2 songs a day, right? From arranging to recording. And then so we were all calculating, man, at this rate we'll be done in half the time. Then we can go travel around France, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So everybody was so psyched up to do that, right? But then on the 3rd day, Penny decided out of the blue, I think I want to have a hang drum player on this record, right? So the hang drum, right? So she asked, they had to fly someone in from like somewhere in France, right, or Switzerland, I can't remember. So he came in, and Penny has no idea of the capabilities of a hang drum. She'll just write lines on the piano, and it's like, yeah, okay, so I want that on the hang drum. And this poor guy was like, oh, I'm gonna have to use 4. Because each hang drum plays 1 scale or something like that, right?
Okay.
And he to play the line, he was going ding, 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 and it's fast, right? So it's like, so then from recording 2 songs a day, because of Penny's impossible lines on the this one, this guy was taking a really long time, right? So we were down to like 1 song a day, and not even completing that 1 song.
Oh man.
So by the end of the session, we only had a day off. But it was fine though. I mean, he's such a great player. He was able to.
You spent 10 days in La Fabrique. I've got no sympathy for your 1 day. Fuck off.
They've got so much space in that studio. They got like a horse ranch over there, and like it's ridiculous. Yeah.
What was the weather like when you were there? What time of the year was it?
Yeah, it was like maybe 18 degrees, 19. Very nice.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you got the whole place, literally, even the whole area, like you can just like walk around and.
Yeah, the whole area. And
awesome.
There's a funny story, right? So halfway through the trip there, the owner of the studio came and to say hi, right? And so we all had dinner together, and then he was telling us a story because we were asking like, so who are some of the recent guys who recorded? Then he's like, oh, I got a funny story. So like a couple of months ago, I received a call, or a couple of years ago, I can't remember, and it was Beyonce or Jay-Z's manager or Kanye West manager, and they said, you know that album Kanye and Jay-Z did together?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they wanted to come to La Fabrique to record it, right? They wanted to book out the studio for like 3 months, 2 to 3 months, and yeah. So the owner was very excited, right? And so he asked, "What dates do you want to come?" And then they say, "Okay, we can only do it on these days." And then the owner checked, and it was already booked, right? So he said, "I'm really sorry, but those dates are taken up. Can we arrange another day?" And then they were like, "No, they want to do it on these dates only." And then the owner said, "I'm really sorry, but we cannot cancel our clients, right?"
Yeah.
And the guy was like, "Have you heard of Kanye West? You know who Jay-Z and Kanye West is, right?" It's so cocky, right? And the owner's like, "Yes, I heard of them, but we cannot cancel it." So
There you
then
go.
that was the end of the conversation, right?
Uh,
And then he said the very next day, she called him again. "Are you sure you don't want to cancel it?" Yeah, so he was like, "No, my decision is not changed."
These are people.
Come in and record, right?
These are people who have
Yeah,
just been used to
oh.
everybody saying yes to them for years, and then when someone says
Yeah.
no,
Yeah,
they
they
can't
just-
understand.
yeah.
They can't understand the word no. They have no idea. But the fact it was a place like La Fabrique, the client that they want to cancel could be someone like Radiohead or some other absolutely massive band. Like so, like
You know who they were recording during that time? Foles.
all right,
Oh,
there you go then.
okay.
Like,
Yeah.
so like
Yeah.
like, so, have you heard of Beyonce or Jay-Z? Yeah. Have you heard of Foles? Yeah. It's them you want me to cancel? Okay then. So I'll give you Foles' manager's number. You can tell them, and then if they say yes,
yeah.
we're okay.
Yeah.
We're okay. But yeah. But when you're
Yeah,
at, when,
it's- yeah,
when
that's-
when you're somewhere like La Fabrique and you're the owner, you have to be a politician to be put up
Of
because
course.
you're dealing with the biggest
Yeah.
artists in the world with the
Yes.
biggest egos and the biggest. But like you just have to massage very well. Like
You have to massage.
But you know, but it's
Lot of
badass job.
massage,
Who else can say no to Kanye?
Out of 37
No.
episodes, Derek says massage for the first time. Now, massage,
Yeah, but I guess word will spread, right? That if somebody gets cancelled
Yeah,
to
that's
accommodate,
why.
and then I don't think it would have been good for their
But they
revenue.
got the
No,
ethics, lah.
absolutely.
No, that's important. See, they got the
he
ethics.
made the right decision. Like he made the right
Yeah,
because
yeah.
once you do that
Absolutely.
once, you're going to do that a million times, and then you just become unreliable because like
Exactly.
people book.
And I have a feeling he tells that story to everybody who records just to spread the legend.
Yeah,
of
yeah,
the
of
movie.
course,
Yeah.
of
Of
course.
You know, his
Yeah.
JD is there. His job description. Yeah, you gotta tell this story.
Yeah.
Every time I say, okay, boss.
At least people will know they wanted to record
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
And we
Ah,
turn them down.
I seen
That's
actually I seen a great thing on YouTube today. Is with Kanye West. He was coming back from Make a Wish, and he was beside Kim. And he was talking about the kid he was talking to, and his kid asked Kanye, "Oh, have you met anybody really more famous than you?" And Kanye went, "Yeah, I just met Tom Cruise there the other day." And the kid went, "Oh Jesus, I didn't think about him." And Kanye's just like going,
Oh, man.
okay then."
Oh, man.
They're like literally as big as it gets, I think.
Oh yeah, that's really is like at that level it's as huge as you're ever going to get. Like so, but
For about 3 months, huh?
3 months
3
block
months.
booking. That would pay for the,
Yeah, that's-
that would pay for the studio for
Yeah.
2 years probably.
Exactly,
It would probably pay
yeah,
for the
that's
studio
true.
for 2
Yeah.
years.
That's true.
Actually, you'd be surprised. You know, you guess how much it is to rent one day at La Fabrique.
Wow.
I would be thinking about
It's just-
thousand. I'd be thinking about €1,000, just as
Yeah, probably about that. Yeah, I think it was
Okay, yeah.
one or 1.2. I think. Yeah.
yeah, that's what I would be thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, about €1,000. Yeah, so
€1,000 berapa ringgit? How much is that?
but like
About 6,000 lah.
no, five
Five.
two, 5 2.
5K.
But I think if you earn in euros, right, then it's not.
It's okay lah. If you're earning something from there,
Yeah.
yeah, that's true.
It might be like paying 1,500 for a studio over here a day, lah. You know, ringgit. You know, like a local.
Is there a
one
studio
to one.
here worth 1,500? There's
Uh,
1,500 a day? Anybody's
I
been
think
to?
I think a lot of studios here, their day rate is minimum 1,500 or 1,200 ringgit a day. Yeah.
Roseanne's place is because you've got Roseanne sitting in it and Melina. That's worth it. Absolutely worth it. Plus to the gear that Roseanne's got, like it may not look like La Fabrique in the middle of fucking France with fucking that beauty, but Roseanne's got amazing gear.
So
and
a
then
day would be.
and then you've got Roseanne and Melina in the place as well, like who are just you can't buy that sort of fucking talent, like.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
having Roseanne's ear and experience and ability alone is worth the price of admission.
Worth 1,000 ringgit a day, worth 1,500 ringgit a day anyway. Like it just is like.
And he's got like amazing equipment.
Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Like his drum selection alone is fucking amazing. Those Canopus drums are just they just work on everything. It's so weird because I've assistant engineered on so many different types of music in that studio, and those drums just work on every style I've heard. Like,
man, I played on so many Canopus kits, right?
Yeah.
And I've never played or even heard a bad one.
No,
because sometimes you play
crazy.
on a lot of Yamaha kits.
Yeah.
You have that odd kit that doesn't tune up well.
Yeah.
Or not just that one kit, quite a few. Same with DW, same with Pearl, same with Tama, but not with Canopus. Every single kit is like immaculate.
I've never heard a bad one. The ones he has, like they all just work. He just goes, we'll put this one here for the style of music.
Yeah.
Set up the mics, and it just works. You just go.
I think with every studio, like the engineer is the most important guy.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Like, Basement Syndicate back in the day, they recorded a second album in the fucking living room, right?
Yeah, I seen bits and pieces of that.
Really cheap preamps, art everything, right? Art preamps for everything.
Yeah.
And like but the sound they got is, because it was the living room, they could experiment, they could take their time.
They take their time.
Yeah, beautiful sound of the whole album. It's like, so it doesn't really matter what you have.
If it works, it works. And if you know what you want, you're fine.
And time, that's great. Yeah.
Okay, guys. We're just about to run out of time for the first half of the show. So the second half of the
time.
show. Yeah, time. Literally spot on time. The second half, I will go into. I think we'll go into your journey as a musician, John. If you're okay with that. Some history with you, if that's okay.
Are you talking about my journey to gigs and how I'm never...
Yeah, how you're always late. Okay, guys. So we'll take a 10-minute break. We'll be back. We'll be back for the second half. Okay, cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Sexy voice. And we're back with part 3 of the John Thomas podcast. Welcome back, John. Thank you once again for being our guest.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, you're on the rose now. Fucking.
If I don't finish it, in the next couple of days, it's gonna go bad. So.
Oh shite.
How does wine go
There's
bad?
always a reason.
Huh?
How does wine go bad?
It gets better only, man. Doesn't go bad, right? Che.
Yeah, after you open it, it does. Yeah, I wasted like a quarter of a bottle that day. It's like, I cannot drink it. Yeah. So I'm gonna let this go to waste.
Don't. Yeah. Don't take chances, man. Don't take chances.
Yeah. When they announced the lockdown, first thing I went and did was got like 5 bottles.
You got stocked up, man. You got stocked up. Yeah.
That's just for one night, man. That's only going to last you a night.
At least got one night, lah.
At least 3 nights, okay.
Maybe.
Learn to stretch it. Yeah.
Yeah, I found a guy near. I stay in Sentul, right? So I found a guy who's like 2 minutes drive away from my house to manage to get everything I need.
Nice.
Yeah.
And he delivers.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that's what they've been doing now, man.
Daily
That's what
drink.
everybody is doing.
Used to be
Always an opportunity somewhere. Yeah, man.
There used to be guys in Belfast. They would put these. It was just pure entrepreneur.
Belfast is back home in Scotland, right?
Yeah. They put these cards in through all the student letterbox, and it was called Daily Drink. So like they always knew students at 3 or 4 in the morning when they're partying would run out of alcohol, so they just phoned them up and they would just deliver fucking alcohol to them at any time in the day. They made a fortune. There was also the alternative called Dial a Deal, who were drug dealers, and they did the same. This is during the 90s. They would put fucking their phone numbers in the letterbox as well, so you'd phone up these guys. But they're a wee bit more dodger because they're all paramilitaries, all running that fucking scam. So it was, you know what the fuck they're getting. Yeah.
I'm sure we have an app now somewhere.
Probably in Belfast.
The dot app. The dot app.
Someone's got an app. So you started off as a guitarist, John?
No, no,
You sure?
no, never.
Simply.
No,
Simply,
no,
it's-
I tried lah, but it was you're young and then you gotta press down and the strings it's painful lah, right? And your fingers when you first start playing, right? And I
Yeah.
was just
Yeah.
I remember thinking like it can't be this hard to just play one chord, right? Whereas on the piano, you can just simply press and then you get that's it, right? The guitar just seems way too hard.
Bit more
when
effort,
you-
lah.
it's like-
Yeah. That's
yeah,
true,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
true. That's
Yeah,
true.
my dad was disappointed lah because he tried.
I assume.
Yeah, yeah. Drums was if you compare drums is an easier option lah when as opposed to because there's no like real learning curve. You hit got sound and yeah lah.
No,
so,
I don't know about that.
Different
Drum-
lah. I wouldn't say. I
drums
don't say
seem
easier, but
so
different lah.
difficult because you're using
Different,
Different
yeah.
you're using four limbs.
Different lah. Not
It's
easier.
Yeah, but-
you have to be sort of ambidextrous for the drum. Completely because all four of your limbs are engaged for the drums.
Yeah, but it's actually very simple to play like the most basic of beats on drums. Anybody can do it, and when you do that, you feel like oh wow, like you're actually playing the instrument, right? Whereas
Yeah.
with the guitar, it's you get all those bum notes. You can't even get the chords to ring nicely, and it's just a lot more frustrating to start off with. I think.
No
and
doubt.
when you're
But,
young,
but it's good. But it's good. You play drums, then you get father and son bonding, man. You can jam.
yeah.
Like, I want my kids to play drums, man. Actually, I got a mini
Yeah.
drum set for them, so we play drums so I can jam. You know, like
You wait
both play
lah.
guitar, boring,
You wait until he start practicing every day. You're gonna regret it.
I got twins, boy and girl, and both also like the drum. So yeah,
But
they have to take turns.
I think as a parent, getting your kid to start violin is a lot more irritating than drums. I think 'Cause
Would
it's
have,
like,
no,
it would have to be.
yeah.
Oh,
It
it must
really
be
would have to be like just a scratching.
Wow. yeah, or like saxophone or something. Is like wow, I can't
Oh
imagine.
man, yeah,
like,
yeah, no.
At least
yeah.
with saxophone,
You can get bum
they
notes,
have
man.
to they have to get
Lower
they have to get that ability to breathe and
Yeah.
blow
Right,
it
right.
properly before they actually start hitting proper notes. Like so the prior to that they're sitting trying to blow away and they're getting almost no sound at all. Like violin,
Right.
it's instant pain. It's just fucking.
And those
Yeah.
those things aren't cheap. Somehow I gotta replace all the time, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I dated a saxophone player like many years ago, right? And man, that instrument I managed to play a horn for a while, right? It is so hard. It requires so much lung power to get. And I asked her like, how do you practice? And apparently it's a real thing. If a saxophone player practices for too long, they get dizzy.
Wow.
It's like because you're
Physical,
constantly
man.
just
Yeah.
it's like such a But I
That's
mean,
true. That's true.
come on lah. They don't have to learn anything. They just need to learn how to solo. only. It's like a guitarist. Hey, you wanna be good? Just learn how to solo. only." It's like- yeah, so unfair.
You're talking.
That's why I play. That's why I play rhythm. Play rhythm like you relax.
You're talking.
Yeah.
No, but I
You're
tell
talking.
you,
You're
I've
talking
met,
to four alternative rock guitar players here who all just play rhythm, can't solo for shit.
and I've met and I've met people who can play solo but maybe cannot play rhythm properly.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A lot of them, yeah.
That's
So,
fair,
like,
lah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I've seen it so much. You got guys who masturbate all fucking day on the guitar, but like you try to get them to do fucking straight to the fucking drum beat, and they're lost. They're absolutely lost. Like
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
so, what age? What
Actually,
age was it when you?
high school? In high school,
Hmm?
I signed up for the marching band because I wanted to play the drums. I wanted to get into the
Oh.
percussion side, but they
then-
ended up giving me the saxophone. So,
Oh, serious lah.
so for the
Oh.
first, I was bummed lah. I was like, okay, whatever, saxophone. So for the first like 2-3 months, the only thing they give you is the mouthpiece, and that's all. You just
The reed?
practice.
So it's just
Yeah.
Duck sounds.
You just practice that until you can blow till there's a
So yeah, you had to use a lot of
pressure and
imagination, like.
there's a certain pressure and there's just a certain pressure to blow to generate the sound. That's just one part of it. Okay. Marching. Let's not talk about marching and how many hours of my life that took up unnecessarily. The other one they asked you to do. The other thing
Do
they
you
asked you to
enjoy
do is it was discipline lah. I got used to the discipline. It was nice. Like, but we were marching like even before school hours, from like 8 in the morning to like 12, and then school starts at like 12:30. So they were doing this like 3, 4, 5 times a week,
Wow.
and yeah, school holidays also. It's quite intense, lah.
Outside?
But
I always,
yeah,
No,
I always
you
thought being in a
Malaysia.
marching band would
outside.
be.
Outside regular school during school holidays. So everybody else will be on holiday, but we'll have to go for like our marching practice and all this nonsense. I only did this for like a year, but the other practice they do is they will take a piece of
You should
paper.
you should have quit the band, man.
I shouldn't have lah. I quit lah. But they take a piece of paper, an exercise book, and then they hold it against the wall. Then they said you have to blow against it and gotta hold the thing with just your air for about a minute, you know.
Wow.
So you-
Ah.
or 30 seconds.
Now we know why you're so fucking loud all the time. That's where it all came from training as a kid.
Good lung
I think
training.
a minute is
Good
long
lung.
lah. But if you do
No, good
30,
lung
I
training.
think
Like pure lung
Yeah.
capacity.
But yeah, good lung training, man.
Yeah, that's why you're so
and
fucking
breathing
loud.
you
So do you guys-
control.
Do you guys win anything?
I mean, I quit after a day one lah, day
Oh,
one.
right.
But I'll be in class. Dude, it got so serious. But they'll have trips to like Spain
Wow.
for like so they were pretty good lah. They were like second in the country, sometimes first or whatever
Wow.
lah. But we were like during our
Wow, this
regular
legit,
classes,
man.
they are like if they have a final coming up, they've got exemption from class to go and practice.
Wow.
Yeah.
But still have to take exam, ah.
Sorry?
I thought exemption for not exemption for an exam, lah.
Exam, they reschedule the exam maybe.
But I still got to take exam, lah. I see.
Still gotta
Double,
take
man.
But-
Ah, it's
Bang,
Malaysia. You can
SPM
sort
tak
it out.
ada, tapi ada certificate marching band.
Oh, that bring you more places, man. Yeah.
Oh,
You get,
man.
you get a better job. So John, what
Been to Spain.
what age what age you
Put in
start
the
playing
CV,
drums
man.
at?
Yeah.
Ditch the band in Spain.
John, what
Yeah, never come back. Yeah.
John, what age did you start playing drums at? What age did you pick it up?
I don't know the exact age, but it was very young. It must have been about 4.
Oh,
yeah,
fuck.
something like that. Yeah.
Ah.
Is the earliest
What?
memory I have is playing drums. It was very very young. Yeah.
Was there like a
What was
big
that?
kit or just like a small?
Huh?
What was the
Was it-
kit like? You played as a normal.
Oh no, just on books only. I didn't get a kit until Form 2 only.
I
yeah,
see.
but-
So you were just
yeah.
okay, cool, man.
I was just on books, and then eventually in standard 5 or standard 6, I got like drum pads, just rubber pads.
Ah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
nice,
Otherwise, yeah,
nice,
it was very humble beginnings.
nice.
John,
Fundamentals. You got the fundamentals.
When you say you started at 4, right? Did you pick it up out of your own curiosity, or was it like you were made
Yeah.
to?
You're knocking things
No,
around.
it was purely because my dad he had a bass at home, he had guitars, he had a keyboard, and he had a pair of drumsticks. And so I would always take the drumsticks, and it was like a fun thing for me to do. Like, I'd come home, then I eventually would start putting my books aside and just playing for fun. So that's how it started. Yeah, it was, and then from there, but it wasn't like pushed on me or anything. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Nice.
And
It's just
when
in you.
when did it become serious for you? Do you
Yeah.
do you have an actual
Um,
point where you went? Well, I think could be a career for me, like sort of thing.
It's secondary school, yeah. Because secondary school, people start asking themselves, oh, what do you want to do? And then you hear a lot of
Yeah.
people like saying, oh, I want to be this, I want to be that. And like I figured, like, yeah, I want to play drums. But still, it was never. I was serious about it, but I wasn't serious. Also, I didn't really have a very disciplined practice schedule. It was always like, some people like to go play football, right? I just cannot wait to come home and play drums. But I
Yeah.
never. My practice was very bad actually. I just play along to records only. There are things you should be practicing. Like your rudiments and all that. But yeah, I did practice it, but the draw was just playing along to songs. So that's what I did most of
But
my.
that became
That's good.
that became a good underpinning for you. I assume because then once you started playing with bands, you found that more naturally
Yeah.
easier. Because
Yes.
True.
And
because playing rudimentary and or playing learning the technical side of the the musicality side of any instrument is all well and good, but if you can't, but we know loads of bedroom musicians who are amazing on YouTube and in their bedroom. Once they get up on stage and try to play along with a band, they just can't function at all, like in any way.
Yeah.
And we probably know
I-
people like that all our lives, like. But the fact that you were playing along with records, 2 songs that everybody knew, it probably just was easy for you to
Yeah.
just start.
I think because I approached it like maybe slightly the other way around. So
About
instead of
face
learning
weeks,
all your rudiments and learning all your drum scales and everything, and then trying to find a way to apply it, I was just playing to records with like the maybe 5 or 6 beats that I knew, and then out of necessity, you realize, wow, it would be cool if I could do this over here.
Yeah.
And then I started working on, and that required some technique.
yeah,
So then I started working on that, and then okay, then I got that technique, and then I'll just go back playing my 5 or 6 beats. Then I realized maybe I need a 7th beat. So then I'll learn something. It was always based on like the record, not so
yeah,
much.
yeah.
Here's 26 rudiments, and then figure out how to apply it. So it was always the other way around. Yeah.
Oh, wait, okay, yeah. So less jazz, more rock.
But records,
my-
man. Record makes things.
My dad made me a mixtape, right? Because that time it was still cassettes.
Yeah.
And it was
mixtape, yeah,
all-
man.
It was the most diverse mixtape ever. The first song was a jazz big band. Okay, the GIP All Star Big Band
Okay.
playing
Yeah.
like some Latin jazz cover, right? And the second song on the mixtape was Kashmir by Led Zeppelin.
That's
Nice.
nice. Yeah. Yeah.
And then it was Average White Band and Tower of Power, and then it was like John Scofield, and then 3 Pat Metheny songs, and then it was just like the most ridiculous, like basically all the songs he liked he put into one mixtape.
But that was good.
And-
He knew what he was doing, because
Yeah.
they're
Yes,
it's all
yes,
fantastic.
I think
it's
so,
all
yeah.
fan-
I think
it's
so,
all
yeah.
fantastic drumming. He was giving you a good
Yeah, yeah,
grounding. He was
yeah.
giving. He's good. Well,
Yeah.
his idea was like, if this boy wants to be a drummer, then these will give him
Yeah.
the grounding
so
he
like,
needs.
it's like from a young age really, even though now like I tend to play, we all eventually play genres that we enjoy playing, right? But
Yeah.
growing up, man, like I hated rewinding the cassette, right? So I literally, even if I had a song that I didn't like, I'll just play through it because I hated stopping and having to rewind.
I
And you
understand.
never
Yeah.
get it right. You always skip, and then you got
Yeah, yeah.
it's
Yes.
like fast forwarding. Yeah, you got to skip
Yes,
it
yes.
back, and you try to start. And so I always just play through the
So
mixtape.
much effort. Yeah.
Yeah, so it really helps. Maybe it doesn't. It might, if anything, it helped with understanding every genre as well as you could, like, whether you liked it or not. Yeah.
Well,
True,
it,
true,
it, hel- it helped you in the long run because it gave you that versatility where you like.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
You
of
could
course, yeah,
play
yeah.
to any. You could almost play to any. Like I've seen you play to almost any style of music, from rock to pop to jazz to blues. I think that probably the only side I haven't seen you play is like the heavier side of metal. So we probably could just give you a couple of weeks and throw you into that as well. Like,
When I was 16 or 16, I got offered to join Chromo.
Wow.
who?
Yes. Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah,
respect.
like promo is like the
Legend, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Penultimate. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know whether he was serious, but I remember my dad said no.
Your dad said no.
promo is a local
Yeah.
heavy metal guy.
Yeah,
Okay.
I actually used to play a lot of rock, like when I was in my high school. It was Rage Against the Machine, Soundgarden, Smashing Pumpkins, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
So
Nice.
these were always like, I went through a whole phase like during Form 2, Form 3, where I come back and Evil Empire would be this. That time we had CDs, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And like so yeah, I
So-
went through all sorts of different phases, and whether I realized it or not, when you start working and you become a sessionist and you got to play all sorts of things,
Yeah,
having that
the underpinning.
knowing the
It was the
genre
underpinning
really
for
helps,
in that. Yeah,
Yeah.
like it like gave
Yeah.
you the good grounding because as we say, like you can sit all day long doing scales and all day long doing your learning chops, but if you're not playing along with actual bands or two
Yeah.
actual songs, then you'll get lost. I mean, you will get fucking
Yeah, and-
lost.
and it becomes very obvious to learn it people of a particular genre, right? So if you play like alternative rock, and that's all you know how to play. You can tell when somebody is just winging it and they don't really know it's like rock, hard rock, alternative rock, the same like you can tell, right?
In metal,
Yes,
in metal, because like I come from a metal background, and we are, aside from jazz, metal maybe the biggest snobs when it comes to music. Like aside classical music, classical. I don't even think classical musicians are as snobby as metal and jazz musicians when it comes to judging the other fucking musicians.
that's
Like,
true.
and in the metal scene, we know when someone's bluffing, and they get fucking ruined. You will get ruined. Like if you're caught bluffing your chops, you're just going like, you're full of shit. Like, fuck off. So
I remember I got called to do a big Taiwanese concert in Taiwan, right? And the whole band was Taiwan based, and the artist was like this huge alternative sort of indie artist, but she made it. She was like packing out like a 15,000 seater stadium 2 nights in a row, right?
Whoa.
So on these gigs, generally when you arrive there, most of the other musicians, they are professional session musicians, right?
Yeah.
You know, your Zaid Ahmads, your Mac Chews, your Jamie Wilsons,
Yeah.
but just in a different country, right? But when I got on that gig, I arrived for rehearsal. I didn't recognize anybody at rehearsal. You know, usually I know who the players are in Taipei, right? And then I found out they're all just guys who play in indie bands, like your laundry bar sort of. But they're good musicians, right? But they don't do any pop shows because it was an indie gig.
Proper
so
alternative musicians.
Right?
So proper alternative musicians, proper alternative.
And then I realized like shit, it's like these guys, like this is the music that they know inside out. And I became like the so-called professional sessionist. I became the one who was, in terms
somewhat
of
intimidated.
Music, that genre. Yeah, I was the weakest one there because I didn't know the genre as well as these guys, right? The feels are different. You know, you cannot, even though it's like it's popish, but you gotta have the indie feels. So it was like, it was really, I went there. I was like, guys, like, just tell me what to play. If I play anything wrong, just stop, and you can stop me as many times as you want. Because in the end of the day, you don't want to sound like a poser, right?
Well, there you go.
Technically, I was.
You had the humility, but you had the humility to say that to them. Like a lot, I could have went to, like, a lot of people would just come in with the ego of like, I'm the professional, you guys are just fucking pub players. Like, you follow my fucking lead, sort of thing, and make a whole disaster. Like,
you can't do that. Like, you can't.
You know you can't do it. Yes, you can't do that. But you know it's happened so much where guys have come in with their giant egos and done that sort of fucking behavior. Like, but you've got the humility to know that you cannot do that. It's their music. I'll I mean, be subservient to them. Like,
if you just put like all that aside and you just look at it for what it is, it's as plain as day that you're the odd one out, right? Your sight reading is not going to work.
Yeah.
Your gospel chops is not going to work.
Charts are out the window for these guys. They don't use charts.
I was the only one with charts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm from that world. There's no charts, man.
That was
just reaching out in the dark.
That was the weirdest. That was the weirdest thing that I learned coming from Ireland to Malaysia. In Ireland, all my friends. There was a really good friend of mine called Dave McGahy, and like Dave's an amazing guitar player, and he plays a trumpet player and guitar player, but he used to enjoy having a music stand with charts for any band he played in, even his own original band. He would have a music stand and charts, and I used to give him so much grief about it. Like, I go, you don't even know your own fucking song, you fucking chump. What the fuck's wrong with you and stuff like that. There, I just berate him like. And then moving to Malaysia, where everybody uses charts and everybody, the scene, it was so different. Like, but like, I
think if you really have a passion to play music well, you know, when you're in a situation like that, that has to come first, right? Because if you have a passion to play well, you might be an egoistical guy with a huge ego, but if your passion for it is stronger, you will. I would think everybody would do that. But it's funny, like the music director for that band, I would talk to all of them, right? And I said, "Oh, so what do you do?" He said, "Oh yeah, I got like I got my own band with a couple of years. We do some small tours." And then I found out, dude, his band is huge. Like, this band called Sunset Roller Coaster, right?
Okay, I heard
And
of
yeah, and so he's
yeah.
the founder of that band and also the MD for that whole gig. I was like, oh yeah, we just only managed to break into China. We do some small tours. They're selling out like 2,000 seater halls.
Wow. That's a
they
good.
they tour like rock stars. Like
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Wow.
When you play anything above 1,000 for alternative music, once you go over 1,000 capacity theaters, you're in a good level of fucking
Yeah, but
success.
they always present
Yeah.
themselves that way, like they're not like that.
Yeah.
That's the true
But that's
selves, like you know.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
not like
that's
yeah.
kind of that's the humility, like so like,
Yes,
which is a
yes.
good thing.
That's
Like,
true.
but it was a good show nonetheless.
And that's your Indonesian indie scene, man. Right there. That's your
Yes,
Indonesian
yes,
indie scene.
yes.
The underground
right, right,
Yeah,
right, right.
scene in Indonesia is
yeah,
crazy, man. You just see them book a parking lot and they're packing that fucking parking lot.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man, Indonesia is like a, I don't know what
Different
is
world,
in
man.
the fucking food or the water. Like
It's different, man. Yeah.
the
On
music and
everywhere,
the
man.
musicians coming out is like just
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mind blowing.
yeah,
It's mental wave. Fuck. You feel fucking
yeah.
intimidated when you just land
You
there and
you
then you just
feel, you
Yeah,
feel.
yeah.
You know, in the
yeah,
indie scene,
yeah.
there were a lot of Malaysian bands that went to Indonesia. They never went back. You know, the 2000s, like indie bands that Kira Besar here. Like one band
Right.
member of mine went. It's good because like the crowd would be like, you know, then you got to do some ice breaking, man. You got to speak some local guy.
Correct.
You got to
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
interact.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
there's stuff. So that's why when I went there, when you perform that solo different. So as singers right, okay, because one on one there will always be interaction, right? You talk with and it can warm things up, you know. So but I can imagine, man, if like it's yeah, man, it's different.
yeah.
It
It's
can
like
be.
such what a scene, lah. What a scene.
Lain
So
lah, lain. Respect,
so
respect.
when did you start
Gigging
getting
and
not gigging, because gigging comes pretty easy, but gigging and the Chinese scene and stuff like, or the kind of international touring
Uh,
scene. What age were you when you first started going?
my
That?
my first exposure to that was in 2008. This artist called Ame, who she's quite an established artist over there.
Ame. Okay, cool.
Ame,
Yeah.
yeah. So Ujang, you know our Ujang, drummer
Ah.
Ujang.
Mhm.
So Ujang was the drummer for that tour. Okay. So and Ujang was doing a fantastic job on that tour, but he didn't enjoy. This is what they told me. Like, he didn't enjoy the traveling. He didn't really enjoy it. He wanted to be at home with his family and all that. So he quit the tour halfway through. Okay. So then I got called for that tour. So I only was on that tour for like half the tour only. Yeah. And thank you, Young, for quitting. So that was my
Ah,
that was my
entry lah.
first exposure into it. Like, yeah. And then it just carried on from there. Lah.
Okay, cool.
How many shows were there? Half the tour was how many shows on average? Okay.
I joined more than halfway
Okay.
through the tour. So I did like maybe 6, 7
Okay.
shows. Yeah,
Nice,
yeah,
nice.
But those shows in
Yeah.
China that you do are in the Chinese scene, they're all quite huge. Like you play stadiums. A
Yeah,
lot
dude,
and stuff
that
It's
artist was
massive,
like
man. Yeah.
from playing like at that time I was playing like TV shows with Aubrey, you know, like 1 in a Million, small functions.
Yeah.
And the first show I remember was 35,000 people.
wow.
Yeah,
And that
they
was
feel,
one of the
man. Yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah. How did that? Like, tell us, like your anxiety. Did you get your anxiety? How do you deal with that amount of people? Where you're the backbone of the music, like.
And mid tour, yeah, and mid tour somehow,
Ac-
yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, it was mid tour. I remember when the music director called me, he's very specifically said, I really need you to learn the music as best as you can because you're not going to get any rehearsal. And I was like, what? No rehearsal? He said, yeah, we're going to have a sound check and we'll only run through the songs that you need to run through. And we only have an hour and a half to sound check. Okay? No, we only have an hour and a half to rehearse. And because the sound check takes so long, they got to do dances, they got to do everything, right? So I remember I got they sent me charts, right? The music. And I swear, they must have sent that same chart to 4 different drummers because there were Chinese markings, there was English markings, and we have Ujang's Malay markings on it as well. And everybody's markings are on top of each other, right? And I was like, I couldn't decipher a single thing. There's no place to write. So in the end, I had to rewrite everything on my own. And we got there for the sound check, but I really did homework lah. So when I got there, I was pretty confident in the music. We just ran through a couple songs at rehearsal, but at that time, you know, you're young, you're kind of like fearless. You're like, yeah, let's go, right? It's like, and a lot of people think, wow, you played 35,000 50,000 people, it must be nervous, right? But actually, you're not, because people are so far away. You can't even see them.
That's true.
The stage is so big, you can barely even see the piano player on the other side.
Mm.
It's like, so it's actually worse than, it's actually playing in a small club is worse because you're there by yourself. Everything's here. You have your music there. Everything's on click. All you have to do is just not make a mistake, right? And that's all you gotta do. It's like you don't even notice the audience because they're so far away, right? Whereas you're playing like a No Black Tie or something, like literally the audience is like right there, right?
Yeah.
Literally right there, right
Yeah,
beside
it's
you.
like there's more. It's easier to get nervous in more intimate shows like that. But
Okay.
those gigs,
But
it's not
I love
really,
that shit. Yeah, that's true. That's
That's
true.
that's
That's
interesting. That's damn cool.
Yeah, because
That's true.
I would always assume the other way about the bigger shows you'd be absolutely. So I suppose the only thing you've got to worry about these days with bigger shows is Ken fucking about with your fucking Avion system.
Actually, I was the one fucking with the Avian system.
Yeah, I know.
I think the only venue on any of these Chinese tours where I got nervous is when we did Royal Albert Hall
In the UK?
2016. Yeah, in the UK, because like I listen to all these great, Led Zeppelin or Royal Albert, it's like
Cream.
all these
the Royal
iconic
Albert Hall,
records, right?
Cream,
Yeah, man.
Cream
Yeah.
at the Royal
Yeah.
Albert Hall.
And like I remember stepping into the on stage during soundcheck, and just looking around, and the only thing I want to do is hit the kick drum once, right? So when I just hit it once, and it's just it's like
But was it
Wow.
good?
That
Was
hall
it a good? Was it a good or a bad? It sounded
Actually,
amazing.
it's not the greatest sounding hall for
Yeah,
for,
okay,
for loud bands. Actually,
Good.
it's because it's not built for that, right? But
Yeah.
it's iconic, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I couldn't help but when we were getting up, I was a bit nervous because I was thinking of all these like great bands that's played here, and then like
Yeah,
it's like, but once you start the song, then you realize you've been playing the same show for like 30 shows.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you,
Have
you relax again.
Excuse me. Have you played Madison Square Gardens?
No,
You haven't played Madison
no.
yet.
I wish I could love it.
You
No,
will,
no.
but like listen, Royal Albert Hall. I think it's more prestigious than Madison. Like, but it
Yeah.
would just
Yeah,
be cool.
still, man.
It would just be cool to play Madison. Like, just to say you've played Madison Gardens. Like,
Madison's the one place that like I really want to play because we've done Wembley, we've done Albert Hall, we've done some of the-
Wembley's just a fucking
Wem-
cave.
Wembley indoor though, not yeah.
I know, I know. Wembley indoor. I seen Rage Against the Machines the last ever European tour before they split up. The first time in 1999, their last ever European date in 1999 was in Wembley indoor. Like, and it's just it's just too big for indoor. It's just a cavern. Like, it's enormous.
Honestly, it's not really very. It's just like any other indoor stadium, It's like it's just not even meant for music, also.
No, none of those places were ever designed for acoustics.
Yeah,
In any way, shape, or form. It's just slap back. You had a snare and it comes back at you 14 times.
I believe Wembley had a 2-second slapback or 1.5 second slapback, where it's like, it's like ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
ridiculous, man. Like, it's just nonsense. Okay, John, thank you so much for this conversation. We really enjoyed it. Usually,
Thanks for having me, man.
every podcast we give the guest the last minute to shout out your hashtags and what you've got coming up in the next few months. So, like, if you've got anything coming up in the next few months,
I'm gonna be really busy actually next. No, I
Good.
got nothing coming out next
The-
week.
the la-
No, I got nothing.
Anyway, the last minute's over to you. If you want to say anything for the last minute, just encourage all us musicians who are the scene who are fucking have got nothing going on, just to boost up anything. Just go ahead.
I mean, I honestly don't really know what to say. Like, it's like I know it's tough times for sure, and I can see what I'm trying to do. Like, it's like I know eventually at some point the music scene's gonna open up again.
Yeah.
Shows gonna happen again. Bands will start touring again, and if you spend this whole last year and this year just not doing anything, one day suddenly you're gonna be thrown back into shows, and you're gonna be worse off than you
Yeah.
were in 2019, and you don't want that to happen. So I think it's important to keep your chops up, practice, like write songs, or at least when things open up again, whenever it might be 2023, who knows, you'll be ready, like, and then you'll be back, like, wow, this guy is like really done something with his time, like,
Yeah.
so that's I guess that's all we can do, right? It's like, what else can we do?
Just prep yourself. Be ready.
Yeah.
Just keep everything
Just
going.
do your
yeah.
craft. Do your craft.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Well,
Yeah.
well, John. Cheers, John Ashley Thomas. Thank you so much.
Hey,
Yeah, man.
Cheers,
hey,
bro.
nice being
Cheers.
on this thing with you guys, man. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks,
It's a
John.
pleasure,
Oh,
man.
is it?
Thank you so much. Like, so
It's a nice break from the monotony of
it is indeed.
Nice.
That's why we do it every Thursday night. Okay, guys. We
We'll
are.
be increasing now. We'll do it twice a week.
I don't know about that. Okay, guys.
Somebody should interview every one of you guys.
Wow.
We'll call it outside
Oh,
the
that
week.
could be a new concept. Yeah, that's true.
No
That
one
could be a
needs-
new concept.
No one needs that gibberish.
Yeah.
Okay,
The
guys.
next episode, John interviews us.
We are out.
Yeah, let me do it, man. Let me do it. I'll ask all the important questions. Derek, how is it like growing up in Scotland?
Yeah, Derek. One day we should ask Derek about Scotland.
The thing about it, I'll just do the whole thing in a Scottish accent. It'll be all fucking fine. No one will know any difference. Well, what do I tell you about Scottish?
legit.
Growing up in Scotland, like, it's really fucking
bit
terrible.
hot,
It's all cold and wet in Scotland, so it's fucking all.
Hey, guys, am I the only one who can't tell the difference between how Derek normally speaks and this accent?
Yeah. Oh.
So for
Hey,
any
oh.
for anybody watching this, you just witnessing racism in 2021, guys. It's fucking disgusting.
Nah.
Hideous.
It's all right.
Sorry.
I think we need to have a diversity fucking discussion about this. Absolutely horrendous.
We are very muhibah,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, right, guys. We're out.
Okay.